the only way to go. I only wish I would have bought more gold and silver myself. I was real conservative. I went with my advice, 14 years ago. I said you should have 10% of your money in gold and silver. And over the years, I've attained, some, but it's not that much. I tell you. 800-686-2237, 800-686-2237. And when you call, tell them it's Alex Jones Special to list all the different specials they've got. They've got quite a cornucopia, and only one of them is available online. If you go to Infowars.com, you will see it says buy 2 silver dollars, receive 2 free gifts from Midas Resources, a free film and a free book, and free shipping. So it's really 3 free gifts, but we like to under-promise and over-deliver. It's actually free shipping, a free book, and a free video, so I guess it's even better. But we ought to change that to 3 free gifts and explain it's a video, a book, and then free shipping. Because, that would be about $10 in shipping. That is a free gift, isn't it, free shipping? I don't know. 800-686-2237, and it is your support buying the books, the videos, the T-shirts at Infowars.com, your PrisonPlanet.tv memberships that allows us to continue to operate and to expand. And you've been seeing a lot of that happening as of late, haven't you? Okay. I will get to your calls coming up in the last couple segments, but I wanted to get Glenn Spencer on from American Patrol because we've been interviewing him for about 12 years. He's an American political and illegal immigration activist. And, of course, he's been a frequent guest on Lou Dobbs, many other shows, AmericanPatrol.com. And I wanted to get him on to talk about this. ATF promotes supervisors in controversial gun operation. L.A. Times, the 3 who have been, by the way, I said this months ago, I said they would be promoted. We got to find that clip. The 3, because for a job well done, this wasn't a failed sting. It was a way to demonize the Second Amendment, destabilize Mexico through the SPP plan, use destabilization there to call for a North American security perimeter instead of our actual borders being the security, to mutualize and harmonize our forces. That's all on the books. So ATF promotes supervisors in controversial gun operation. The 3 who have been criticized for pushing on with the border weapon sting, even as it came apart, well, they did a great job, received new management jobs in Washington and big pay raises. So the people that their underlings said, you're shipping guns to Mexico, this is illegal, stop it. They, of course, are being demoted and getting in trouble. That's been confirmed. And those that did it and followed their criminal orders to then demonize the Second Amendment, they are being promoted, kind of like the high-level FBI supervisors that ordered their folks under them that said, hey, these people are going to flight schools and don't want to know how to land them. I think they want to fly it in the World Trade Center. That was a quote by one agent. They said, we just demoted you. You're off the case. National security letter. Don't talk about this. They stood down. The attacks happened. And they all got record cash bonuses and went up to the big offices. It's like, you are hardcore. We're really going to take the American people's rights now and keep the borders open. High five. Attacks happened. Oh, well, let's help get the underwear bomber on the plane. We're the State Department. We'll put naked body scanners in. Oh, yeah, these are good people. It goes over all of that in the articles. And as I was saying, Glenn Spencer joins us from right there on the Arizona-Mexico border. And Mr. Spencer, good to have you here with us today.
Alex, good talking to you.
So, what's your take on this? Maybe we should give them a box of gold and cigars and have a parade for these ATF guys that, well, it's admitted at least 5 cops, 3 dead Border Patrol agents, countless citizens on both sides. Is the pay raise big enough for the great job they did?
Well, I'm not sure if that's all they're going to get. There are probably some other perks they'll get that we don't know about.
Oh, good.
But, if you look at the LA Times statement, the agents, the boots on the ground, one guy says, literally, my mouth fell open. He said, I'm not, literally. He couldn't believe that these guys were being promoted back to Washington. But it's not surprising. It's not surprising. These are people who are to be rewarded for doing exactly what they were told and not questioning the authority from Washington, D.C. These are jackbooted thugs who will do anything the Obama administration orders them to do, including shipping guns to Mexico that are used to murder our agents. Now, if they will do that, they will do anything. So we must reward them.
Absolutely, like Katrina gun confiscation. These are great people. And I guess they've got to be pretty proud of themselves now. I mean, we've got a lot of dead police officers, a lot of dead Border Patrol agents. This is, I mean, how dare you not be for them getting big raises, Glenn?
No, see, the thing is, this is it. And the word goes out throughout the agencies, throughout the federal government. You do exactly what you're told, and you will advance. If you defend America like Ramos and Campion, who happened to have wounded a drug smuggler and criminal, they went to federal prison, right? So if you try to defend the country, you'll go to prison. If you turn against it and you do anything you're told, anything, including the shipping murderous weapons into the drug cartel's hands, you are on your way up the ladder. That's the message. And
Obama has canceled what was left of the so-called partial fence they built, the virtual fence. They're canceling everything. The illegal aliens are running all over us. Rick Perry, who got awards for sanctuary cities, introduced a bill and then quietly killed it to get rid of sanctuary cities. What a duplicitous weasel he is. We've got
absolutely.
Tell us about Rick Perry. You're the big immigration expert.
Well, I've tracked Rick Perry for years, okay? He is an open borders globalist. He got $250 million from the state of Texas for a border initiative. And I think it was the Houston Chronicle that gave him the Pants on Fire Award for wasting all of that money. He was such a liar. He spent it on political hacks without doing anything about the border. He is opposed to the fence, and that's the only thing that keeps El Paso from being overrun by Ciudad Juarez. But that fence is an important element in our defense. And may I say this? There is an element here that links the fence to Fast and Furious. Because, as you know, I've been flying the border on a regular basis. I mapped the border fence. I've been doing this for 7 years. And I watched it go up. And what we found in looking at our data, that we found out what started the Mexican drug war. We know what started it. It was when we closed off the Goldwater bombing range with a fence starting in 2006. That triggered it. And then they closed it off from Yuma over to Calexico. That kept it going. And then right near me, another 40 miles. This was the unintended consequence.
By the way, that's the only true part of the movie Machete, is that the drug dealers on both sides of the border get together to try to get a fence built so that the southern cartel can bring their drugs in and cut off their competition. And I know that did add a lot of stress to the different cartels. There's
no question about it. I've analyzed it and studied this for 2 years, more than 2 years. That's what started the Mexican drug war. Had we finished the fence, they wouldn't have had anything to fight over. Now, this is what I think was behind Fast and Furious. Our government was trying to prove that it was U.S. weapons that set off the Mexican drug war instead of the actual fence.
Well, that was in Mexico. They also wanted to blame the Second Amendment. I remember a year and a half ago they were blaming the Second Amendment for Mexico and calling for gun restrictions. So
absolutely. And they've been lying about it ever since. So what you have now, you mentioned earlier, a program to essentially merge the U.S. and Mexican war on drugs and the border effort. This comes directly out of Northern Command. I can go into detail with this, but I went to a conference a couple of years ago. I had to pay $1,200 when I sat there and listened to a general tell us that the homeland definition used by Northern Command now includes Mexico. Did you know that?
Yes.
The Northern Command includes in their definition of homeland the country of Mexico. That's our home. That's the homeland.
We got the documents in 2007. It's in my film Endgame. I know you covered it. Judicial Watch sued and got the North American Union SPP documents, and it said, we're going to use border crises to get rid of the border, create a continental security perimeter, and that now Obama has officially executed, and merge the three countries and use each other's troops in each other's nations against our own citizens. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I sat there and listened to this general from our Northern Command explain how they're going to go about doing it. I've got his whole transcript and the audio clip of how they're doing it. Our Army is encouraging our Border Patrol agents to work directly with the Mexican Army, right, going around Washington, D.C. Work directly with them. He said, we'll support you. This is totally subversive. This is totally subversive. But I'm looking into Mexico right now. I'm looking at a cartel headquarters. We have documentation. This drugs are going in and out of there, and the Mexican Army is going in and out of there. And I'm watching it right now. And our government, our Northern Command generals are working to erase our border. I have absolute airtight proof of that.
Well, very well said, Glenn. Getting back to this ATF situation, yeah, they quote the lower-level ATF guys that blew the whistle, saying our mouths have fallen open. You're promoting them? Because, as you said, this was not a botched operation. They've now caught the FBI, DEA, and ATF shipping guns into drug gangs in Venezuela, in Nicaragua, in Honduras, into drug gangs in Miami. This is in the news. It's admitted now.
Right.
The head of the ATF admits that Holder lied to Congress. So this is a larger program, almost like Iran-Contra, where they're actually funding certain drug gangs that are knocking out their competition. And I'm telling you, this is the Chicago mob running our government. I mean, how creepy is it that the Chicago mob connected Obama? If there was any question about this being Chicagoland nationwide, that's what this is. Only a Chicagoland president would say, you know what, you guys ship these guns in, and even after you got caught, kept doing it under our orders. We're gonna kick you upstairs. You're what we're looking for.
That is exactly right. They will. These guys will obey any order, no matter how outrageous. That is the criteria for advancement. Because if people get the word, don't ever question the order. Just do it, right? And so just do it, no matter how outrageous it seems. You just do it. Unless you want, you want to lose your job, go ahead, complain. You'll be out on the street. Have you checked the unemployment rates lately? Good luck, and we'll blackball you. This is serious.
Well, I mean, the country's completely collapsing, and Mexico's collapsing under globalism. And as you know, you've worked with native groups around North America. I remember being in Mexico 20 years ago for Christmas in Cancun, more than 20, like 22 with my parents. I guess I was in junior high, more like 25, 30. Man, time flies. And I remember my parents were driving around Yucatan sightseeing, and there were signs everywhere that said, buy UN biosphere land, Glenn. And they went back to the hotel and got brochures, talked to the concierge. They said, you can buy land in Mexico. They were just opening it up. And it was land where they had forced the farmers, it was all over Mexico, off their land, forcing them up to the maquiladores. That was part of the NAFTA deal. They were getting, this was pre-NAFTA. They were getting ready for it. This was probably about 1990 or something, maybe even earlier. And now I've learned all over Latin America, they force people off their land up to the big cities, which are then juncture points to the United States and Canada. And it is just absolutely horrible what these globalists have done. They really are long-term thinkers.
No question about it. No question about it. It's the elimination of the nation state, one world government, one world, no borders, no nation states, no army, only the UN. That is their goal. They will sacrifice us. They will look at problems like in California and just slough it off and say that's the price we have to pay.
Well, Glenn Spencer, I really appreciate you joining us. You know, we need to make this a big issue with the big-time Republican talk show host. We need to get Congress to be subpoenaing the Attorney General for caught lying. We need to really see a movement towards impeachment. I mean, if this isn't impeachable, fast and furious, what is? Do you agree with that statement?
Absolutely. No question.
Well, let's get the heat on these people. I mean, where are the big mainline Republican talk show hosts? They're still calling it an Obama screw-up shipping guns in. This isn't a screw-up. I mean, Hitler going into Poland wasn't a screw-up. It was what he meant to do.
Well, that's right. And even you talk about Rick Perry, my little feature today. I mean, here's Fox News, you know, the supposedly bastion of the right. They won't talk about Rick Perry's play feat in immigration. They won't talk about it. And,
well, Rick Perry got an award. I talked about this last week. People didn't believe me. I mean, they pulled it up off C-SPAN. I have footage of it in my film Battle for the Republic. Rick Perry was given awards by Vicente Fox for in-state tuition for illegals that other U.S. citizens don't even get. I mean, this guy is a